But let's talk about the first game of the season, Bills and Rams.
Oof. Oof.
Man, circle
Circle the
the
fucking
wagon.
wagon.
That was a
If you're a
thumping.
Bears fan and you're not bandwagoning the Bills, what are you doing? They're basically us, but better. So please, if you're a Bears
So-
fan and you're sad that we're not going to be good, bandwagon the Bills with me.
Bills beat the Rams 31-10. Dolphins beat the Patriots 20-7. Ravens beat the Jets 24-9.
Yep.
Saints beat the Falcons
It's
27-26.
close though. Yep.
Browns
Yeah.
beat the Panthers 26-24.
Hey,
Eagles over the Lions 38-35.
That was
Got
a
the-
hell of a fucking game.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a good game.
The Lions in a shootout, losing another heartbreaker, but still,
Yes.
man.
They was getting their ass whooped. And
I know, and
then
they came
they
back,
came back.
bro.
they
came
started
back.
pinching
So
away.
was New
and I was
Orleans.
like, what
New
the
Orleans
hell?
was getting handled
too,
pretty
yeah.
bad too.
Yep.
In the first half.
Down
Um,
2016, yeah.
Commanders over the Jaguars 28-22.
That was closer than I thought too. Jags
Yes.
looked okay. As bad as they look okay.
Yeah.
Technically, that game
Um,
should be on the hand. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah. This one they're very disappointed in. Colts and Texans tied.
Trash, bro.
Dude.
Then they just cut old boy
And
today.
and they
Like,
cut Rodrigo, man. I don't get it. But okay. Steelers over the Bengals 23
Let's
20.
go, Joey B
Char-
down, bitch.
Chargers over the Raiders. Giants over the
Look at
Titans.
him.
That was
Vikings over the Packers. Chiefs over the Cardinals. Buccaneers over the Cowboys.
Kermit, baby.
And then
Bye-bye,
the
Dak.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, where you
beating
at,
the
boy?
49ers.
Yeah.
Where
Let's
you
go.
at, boy?
Let's
Yes,
go.
damn, that
Let's-
shit hurt hard. I had memes on memes ready to send to this boy. That shit hurt hard.
I need to go back and clip you saying they was going to beat the shit out of them.
Did you watch that first half? You should have been up 3-4 scores.
Y'all never had an offense.
So,
Telling
but
you, that's why you don't
in-
got a chip.
in our recap with all this, what do we believe was the best game of week one?
Ooh.
The best
Saints.
game.
Ooh. There was a lot
Saints,
of decent
Falcons.
games.
Saints Falcons.
That one was good. I like as bad as they were, both the overtime games, the Houston and
I'm gonna take
the
Pittsburgh
Steelers
and
game. Yeah,
Cleveland.
they
I
were
think.
fun. They
Or,
were fun watches.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think was my
Fun
favorite game.
watches.
Because the Bears were playing at that point. There was another game that I was watching. I can't remember what the hell it was, but I literally kept the Steelers and Cincinnati on because that game was just. I mean, Pittsburgh's
Unreal.
defense was crazy. They lose T.J. Watt. They still
Mhm.
step it up. I mean, they had goal line stands. They had
Minka, defensive player of the week.
dude.
Yes.
He was insane. I mean,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh has fully unlocked everything with Minka ever since he got traded from Miami to Pittsburgh.
bro,
They've let
thank
him
the
just
Lord.
be unleashed.
Well, that's what
Unleashed.
he did in college when he played
Correct.
under Nick Saban. He played linebacker, he played corner, he played safety,
Yeah.
both safeties. He played everywhere, and that's
Yes.
what they let him do in
It's
Pittsburgh.
like the star role that Ramsey was playing last
Right,
year.
but he
a lot
does it better.
for, the Rams
Because he actually has
Mhm.
experience playing well. He can
Yeah.
blitz from a linebacker spot.
And he's a
he can
bigger
blitz from a
guy.
DN spot. He can cover a number one out
Mhm.
wide. He can give you zone in the safety spots.
Mhm.
He hits like a fucking tank.
Bro, he blocked that kick, right?
He did block
Yeah.
the kick off the edge, so he got some speed. Man, I've always loved him.
All right, so that was
Sorry.
yours, Isaac. So you said New Orleans and Atlanta was your best game.
Yeah,
of week
because-
one?
Yeah, because it was like a coming
guard
out
Mike.
party. Exactly. Can't card Mike made a return in that second half. And they're not trying to be funny. As much as I used to love Jameis Winston when he was at Florida State.
I still do a little bit.
I still love him, but the one thing I used to hate was Jameis Winston throw 4 touchdowns, but like also 4 interceptions at the same
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
And as they was getting their ass kicked 26-10 in the middle of that fourth quarter, he had no interceptions. And he also kept an efficient game. He was 23 of 34 for 268 yards.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, probably made the biggest plays, finding can't guard Mike coming down the stretch. And he got Jarvis. Shit, he made Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis played
That's
well.
what I was.
He's
about
a
to
relevant
say.
fantasy receiver, everybody.
Jarvis
Jarvis
played well,
Landry
yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Like, so I just think that with that game, the Falcons really blew a lead where Marcus Mariota was on a groove.
Mhm.
Defense was playing a little bit well for him a little bit.
Very
Shit, Cordell
well.
Patterson just told y'all was like, I'm not going nowhere in a sense. And they just wet the bed like they did in the Super Bowl.
What you got, Dean?
For mine, I'm actually gonna go with I'm actually gonna go with the Dolphins over the Patriots. I kind of thought that the Dolphins were gonna kind of play around a little bit, but you know what? They obviously there were struggles all around week one. I think in all games we can agree that it was kind of sloppy at one
Yeah.
point or
There was a
another.
few.
I mean, even
No,
the Bills,
yeah.
even the Bills look.
If your name Kansas City,
I would
3
say
or 4
KC.
turnovers.
Yep. I was about to say KC
Yeah,
looks
also-
like they're ready to run it back.
But I think we're like being able to see Tua actually be relaxed, actually being able to quarterback a team,
But you
being
didn't
able
watch
to
him,
use
man.
all the weapons.
Did you watch him in Alabama or what?
No, I'm just saying though, but like actually having the backing of the coach and everything else, being able to at least see what Jalen Waddle, what Tyreek Hill can do. Obviously they still have a lot of work to do. I think the defense is going to be top 5. I think that defense is disgusting. They're young on the front line. They got Xavier Howard. You got Byron Jones on the back end there. I think they're going to be great.
No, their defense is actually, I think, very,
Yes.
very freaking solid.
It's
And
underrated
they
because I
backfield
think,
trash.
Correct.
but
That's going
I-
to be by committee all year.
their defense I think is underrated because they don't have the huge names like on the Rams, or anything like that, or even on the Chargers. But
Bills.
their defense, the Bills, their defense can come to play though. I think they'll be a top 5 defense. So that's my best for best week 1 game that I'm going with.
Let's hear it, boy.
All right, so let's go to the worst section. I'm gonna nominate us because we played like dog shit.
Don't hit the table. You're gonna knock everything
All
out.
credit to the Bears defense, especially the D
Thank
line.
you.
D line was incredible whole
Yes.
game.
And that boy Bo Jack in the safety spot. And how many times did
Showed
you-
up,
Jalen
showed
Johnson's name?
up.
My point is- Our play calling was atrocious. The execution was atrocious, and the discipline was
Pretty bad.
the worst.
Kyle Shanahan.
I have not seen a 49ers team
Where's Mr.
just-
Krabs?
shoot themselves in the foot so many times. Like, get a Debo fumble, great play by Johnson, punching it out, but he's got to hold on to that.
Mhm.
Right? That's a guy like Debo Samuel.
Hey, yeah, shout out to Debo. He fucked my fantasy all up.
receiver in the backfield.
He was like 20 yards downfield when that happened.
But it happened though.
Keep
But
going.
the penalties killed us. The Bears scored, if not all 3 of their touchdowns, 2 out of their 3 touchdowns came after there was a penalty on a 3rd down play.
Mhm.
And
And
so,
then I was gonna say you congratulated the Bears defense.
yes,
We were also extremely fucking disciplined.
yes,
They only
that
had
was
3 penalties.
3 for
themselves.
like
You
25
know what you
yards,
ain't talked
like that.
about? You know
You
what
need me to
didn't
turn
talk
around?
about? No, I'm talking about V. You talking about your 49ers. You know what you didn't talk about?
What?
That's the
The
worst
Niners.
segment. That damn backfield. Look at Elijah Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, he got hurt.
The Niners
We have
curse.
a yearly tradition of losing our starting running back in game 1. But I think we knew that the interior offensive line would be a problem, but it's looking like a problem.
Your boy
Yeah.
Trent, even though
Kittle's
he
out,
sucks.
doesn't help the blocking. Trade had
Well,
some
help
good
you out.
throws, had some bad throws. Really bad one on a screenplay to end the first half. Don't think we would have got anything out of it, but throwing it in the dirt on a screenplay, never a good look. But I can't really fault him too much. He played a solid game. He actually finished with a better rating than Fields.
I'm gonna tell you what-
Like
but
this much.
That's bad. Saying by this
But,
much is
yeah.
bad. I'm gonna say though, when the Bears took the lead, that boy looked rattled.
Yes, and
He looked like he was lost. He looked like he didn't know what to do.
and you could see it in Fields' face.
Field
quite
looked
opposite.
confident.
That touchdown
He was escaping
happened.
the pocket, and he looked down the field. And he's like, "I got wide receiver 3, 4, 5, and 6 on everyone else's team. Let me try and make a fucking play."
Yes.
The worst thing about that game was the fact that Dante Pettis scored
An X9.
because he's an ex-Niner and he was awful.
He was loving.
He
that.
couldn't catch the ball, was muffing punts. The one thing he was supposed to be really good at was returning punts, and he was muffing them for us. So this man wants to come down. Probably you said this earlier. He only caught it because he was within like 20
He was
yards
wide
of
open.
space.
Hey, but guess what?
20
though?
yard space, and all your
Right, but-
defense ran with Fields. The
But you
opposite
got to
way.
think, right? They ran with Fields, and then
Yeah.
Monty went for a little screen around
Yeah,
the first down
pulled-
mark and pulled
He pulled
the
two defenders that were-
linebackers.
Yep.
But I think one thing that I am okay with is that I'm glad this bad game happened early.
I'm glad it was against us.
Gives us a lot of film that we
I'm
can
so
work
happy.
on now
Lot of
throughout the
film.
season, rather than when you start well and then you start stumbling on later on.
That's
I
more of
think
a
teams
concern.
go into crisis mode a lot of
Mhm.
times. They don't really know what's going wrong and why things have changed. I think being able to see that the mistakes that you made, both on both sides of the ball, the discipline stuff, that seeing that in week 1 is a lot better than seeing that in week 13, week 12.
Tastes
when
good. when
that
it's
swing could
against us,
actually,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold that for me, boy.
We're actually last
Thank
in
you.
the NFC West because we lost a division game or a conference game.
what
We're
I
the only
like
ones
to
who played
see.
an NFC team.
Okay,
this
I'm
week.
gonna roll with a worst performance. I'm gonna roll with the Broncos
Mm.
because I think a lot of us probably had them winning that game by 2 touchdowns, to who a lot of people have
Two.
as
I did. I didn't think. I thought it was going to be close first half and then
I
blown
thought they
open
was
in
gonna
the
get
second
their
half.
ass. I
Right.
thought Seattle
a
was
lot
gonna
of
get
people
their
have
ass
Seattle
whooped.
pegged as
Yeah.
one of the worst teams, a
Mhm.
top 3 to 5 pick.
And-
Easy.
94% of the money line bets were on the Broncos.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and what that defense showed up. Jordan Brooks is looking like the next coming of like a Luke Kuechly to be one of those middle linebackers all over the field.
Mhm.
I mean,
Oh, Big Al Woods.
it's insane.
man.
Al
Oh.
Woods on the interior. They got a few rookies on the outside.
Woolen, their cornerback Woolen, he's like
yeah,
about
yeah.
6'3",
There's 2 rookies.
6'4".
There's 2 rookies on the outside that
Oh,
played pretty well. I mean, Kobe Bryant got
got
burnt
burned.
by Judy, and then never saw the field. But he
but it's
played
a
a
lot
good
of
first
potential.
half.
A lot of potential.
So that was,
Judy
I mean,
did
I
hit
just
him
think it
with
was
that
bad
hammer.
on Denver and their
Yeah.
play calling. That's
Fa-
my opinion. When you're
fair
going up
game
against 2 rookies,
Yeah.
you got Judy and Sutton. I want you challenging them all day, especially because one of them was 1-on-1 every freaking time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, they had a lot of shooting themselves in the foot moments. The 2 fumbles in the goal line really,
and
I
a
think,
turnover on downs
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
the red zone as well.
that
Yeah.
but it was one of those.
3 chances to come away with points, and all you needed was 1 field goal from any of those 3.
Yeah, it was just they played really badly, like within their own realm. And I mean, the defense second half they allowed 34 yards to Seattle the whole second half, yet they couldn't come back because they just couldn't finish off plays.
Yeah,
And that's what I mean, I saw a stat today about teams that don't play their starters in preseason.
Mhm.
Over the
which
last
we were talking about.
yeah,
If you look at the teams who
teams
really
that
had offenses firing, the Chiefs had their starters
Mhm.
play some snaps. The Bills had their starters play some
Yep.
snaps. Minnesota had their starters play a few snaps. I mean,
teams that rested their starters for the entire preseason are 6-13 straight up
Yeah.
in week 1 over the last 2
Yeah.
years. So all these teams that think they're hot shit and rest during the preseason because they don't want to risk injury, come
at
down.
least get a couple series in.
We've seen it 2 years now from the Packers where they look absolutely awful in
Awful
week
week
1.
one.
They
I'm
turned it
tired
around
of them.
last year, but we'll see if it's possible with the less offensive weapons this week.
All right,
Okay.
what do y'all got? Who's one of some of your worst teams or performers?
Um,
Maybe could have been an individual player even.
I'm gonna go with some of my worst performers. Well, one, I'm gonna go Tampa Bay and Dallas. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
Dallas
that was
as one of the
kinda-
worst performers. Even when Dak was in there, did not look good. Their offense did not look good at all.
Mhm.
Offensive line was terrible.
Yep.
Everything was terrible. I mean, their defense did play well. They
The
held
defense
the
did play really good. I
they
think.
held up. They held the Buccaneers to 19 points, but that
I mean,
offense
They were getting
CD
gashed on the ground.
CD Lamb did not look
Yeah,
like a
Lenny
number
was
one wide
cracked.
receiver. It's looking like a mistake that they let Amari Cooper go.
Mhm.
So obviously we'll see how that goes. And Dak is supposed to maybe at
We're
minimum
gonna
be
see. I
out
think
4
I won't
weeks.
say it's a mistake yet until we get to see Michael Gallup take the field again. Because
Yeah.
that
And
was the
James-
choice,
and
was to
James
re-sign him
Washington.
and leave
Yep.
Cooper. But
And
it's
then
not looking good.
my other worst one is Indianapolis tying with
That's
Houston.
tough. Yeah, that was really
Um,
bad.
I was with you on that.
Matt Ryan played a solid game. He had the 1 interception, had over
That
300
team's
yards
the
passing.
same.
Let
yeah,
Isaac
yeah.
talk since he had.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that
Those are
team's
my
the
other
same.
ones.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Danny, because I feel
Yeah.
like that team's just the same. It's not. It wasn't. It's no drop off from Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz. There's a drop off from Carson Wentz coach to this Washington Commanders Carson Wentz now.
Mhm.
Whew,
But-
came out hot.
But when you look at that offense, it's the same thing. I think once again, we was talking about it a couple episodes ago about Jonathan Taylor repeating that success. I think Jonathan Taylor has no choice if they're going to
Yeah.
thrive in that offense. Michael Pittman's going to have to eat every catch possible with
Mhm.
their team because there's nothing else on that team.
They
Like
look like the
Matt Ryan-
Titans from last year and the year before.
Yes,
Which
look-
could be a
that's-
disappointing team to also throw in there. They lost to the
The Giants.
Giants.
But I think that's more credit to the Giants. Not only were
Yes.
the players playing well, but like the culture, the energy
Giants.
seemed
They had,
different.
they had, in my opinion, one of the best off seasons.
Yeah.
And I think
I
that
think
showed.
Another one I think that we're forgetting just because it happened Thursday. Then the Rams and
See, the reason I
specifically
don't have
Matt
that,
Stafford.
the reason I don't have that as a worst
I call it-
performance is because they played the Super Bowl favorites.
yes,
That came out.
I mean,
also,
the Bills still had 3 or 4 turnovers. It's not like
They had 2.
but the one thing I think when
Dick
you
and a
look at
fumble.
teams like that on a night, it happens in the NBA too. On nights of like award ring ceremonies or
Mhm.
anything like that,
One
I
was
think it
bad.
can rate
Yeah.
what's it called the
a
Super
good
Bowl
throw.
hangover in a sense.
Right.
So they came out not ready to play at all. You got your rings right before you probably was focused before the game, but then you got your rings. Focus went all the way out the window. There you got your
Yeah.
rings in front of everybody, and then you come in to play a team who low key should have been the Super Bowl last
They
couple
hungry.
years.
They're hungry.
And they hungry. So like you just asked to get your ass whooped that
Yeah.
first game. To be
yeah, but
honest.
it's one of those like I think
It was a recipe for a loss, in my opinion.
yes,
That's
a
why I'm
loss.
not
But the
tripping on
way
that.
Stafford played, a lot of the throws he made,
The elbow, though. I know
That-
they're saying
that-
it's
you got
good,
to-
but
yeah, but
That
that's
ain't good.
not you can't say oh he's got a hurt elbow. So that's the terrible sign. If the hurt elbow is impacting his throwing ability,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
It's
also
not
too,
great.
he didn't get a chance. Like we was talking about preseason. Since the elbow injury, he didn't get a chance to work with nobody.
Yeah.
So I think, like you just said earlier with the 49ers, thank God it's the week 1
Yeah,
for
I'm
them.
not tripping on
Well,
them. That's why
yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
not
include the
tripping.
Niners in a worst performance.
Yeah.
But I
gotcha.
am gonna put Aaron Rodgers on there too, my boy.
Okay.
Because-
Those wide receivers
I'm
were
not
playing
tripping on him
awful.
yet either.
Yeah.
You
No,
don't
wide
have
receivers
to
playing
have
awful.
no. Now, the
MVPs.
reason I'm picking on Aaron Rodgers is because this is what tells me why he can't be a break. He's a great quarterback, legendary in my opinion,
Okay.
but he can't be. It's one of his words. I can't win. He's not in my opinion, a leader in a sense. He didn't work with those guys like that in the offseason. None of his receivers like that. All he did was technically criticize them. He didn't try to like let me straddle you under your wing a little bit or try to do extra work outside of that. Like shit, Cooper
Yeah.
Kupp and Matthew Stafford ate breakfast every day to try to figure out stuff together. He's
Yup.
not doing that with those guys. So when you get down there, when you got like certain things you used to run with Devontae, it's not gonna work.
Right.
It's not the same.
And then on
Okay.
top of that, your backfield is so much going on in the backfield. I think you need to choose who you committing to.
Aaron Jones looked good. I think
They
Aaron
both
Jones
look
looked
really
pretty
good.
Yeah, I just
I
think
just
you get
think-
more versatility with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I think even if you're gonna do that, your receivers are lacking. Robert Tonyan a couple years ago had 11 touchdowns.
You
Yeah.
caught one
Robert
again.
Tonyan. Yeah, find Robert Tonyan. Find Randall Cobb.
I think
You
it'll
do
get better
special-
too when Lazard comes back. And you
Yeah.
have Lazard and Cobb on the field, and then only one rookie rather than 2 or 3
Yeah.
rookies.
That was
Yeah,
a huge
but,
loss.
yeah, but looking at Watkins and all of them, I just don't think they built enough rapport with Aaron Rodgers to even thrive. And then Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers looked like shit. Again, week 1.
And if we are being completely honest, when have rookie wide receivers, even if it's obviously they haven't
Outside
picked
the
one in the first round,
very rarely.
but obviously they haven't picked one in the first round. But even when they do start them, it takes them years to like actually be productive. So it's going to be interesting to find out for at least how they go and continue into the season. Another one, obviously, we touched on it a little bit. Isaac touched on it with Michael Thomas. Best performance.
I was gonna
So
say,
if y'all
best
wanna go-
performance, surprisers, or
Yeah,
surprising
um,
teams, players. Give me all of it.
I'm actually gonna go with I might take yours, Christian.
You are gonna take
Saquon.
mine. You fucking cock.
I'm not gonna go into it. I'll let you go into it. But
Bro,
I'm just glad he's back. He made an impact. He was a monster. But I'll let you take the rest of it.
you just did.
talk
The man's a
Oh,
monster. I think
man.
he's in a contract year, so he's probably gonna have the best season of his career.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be better than his rookie year. I think he's now a year off the ACL. He had games under his belt last year. He had a whole off season, and I know we talked about it with AD. We've talked about it with other people. He's got a whole off season of being healthy
Yeah.
and being able to work on stuff rather than rehabbing in the off season, and that's huge.
Yes.
So I think they're gonna use him like a friggin' horse. I really do, and I think his numbers are gonna be insane. I think he's back, man. I really do. I don't
I
want
hope
to
so.
overreact too much, but that was 100% my top performer. They get shafted without him in that game.
Mhm.
I'll at least say another one real quick for me. AJ Brown. I
Missing
didn't really
that
know.
tutty. He was
I didn't.
missing the
Yeah,
tutty,
but I
he was
didn't. I didn't
dynamite.
really know. I didn't really know what to expect from him in the first game.
I
I
disagree
expected him
with
to. I didn't. I'm more so of like what he was actually going to do production wise.
I
But
was
the
more
fact that he
concerned
went
with
off.
Jalen Hurts than AJ Brown.
I got you. But yeah, at least like for AJ Brown, he was one. I'm glad he at least had that performance, showing that he is worth the money, showing that he could be a true number
Right.
one wide receiver as
Okay.
long as you give him the opportunity. So that's where I'm going with that.
Speaking of true number 1 wide receivers, That man Jay Jettas is
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be a
And I was
problem.
gonna tell you, if
That
the
man's
man
gonna be a
Jettas,
problem.
Tay, Cup, Pittman, shit, you all had great week ones.
That man,
You know, it was impressive too. I'm not saying the Packers defense is A1. I definitely think they're like a second tier defense,
Yeah.
but he was turning Jair inside out.
yeah, and Jair obviously he came out and said that he wasn't. The coaches said they didn't want him shadowing. He wanted to be shadowing Jefferson the whole game, but
Even when he did, he
I will
got
say he had a
destroyed.
fairly quiet second half.
yes,
Yeah,
but I
'Cause
think
he
the
was 7
offense-
receptions for 1 something.
Yeah, finished with
And then he only
9
had
for
2 in the
184 and
second
2
half.
touchdowns. But
Mhm.
I think part of that is the fact that they were playing with a lead, so they started playing a little bit more conservatively.
Yeah.
I think the Packers did adjust well defensively.
Correct.
Um,
Defensively correct.
But if they're able to, if he's able to come out like that in the first half every game, they might not even need to worry about the second half in a lot of these games, only against the
No.
better teams.
Yeah, but then
because-
and the NFC North's got a softer schedule, so
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's one of those
He
where
could
like
eat.
it's
he gonna eat.
he's looking scary.
He gonna eat, man.
What else? What other one you got? Besides Jettas?
Got two. I got
Got two.
that boy Pat Mahomes,
Yep.
the 5 TDs. When everybody said,
Kermit, baby.
you know, and I'll be honest, I was on here a couple weeks ago saying they wasn't gonna be shit. I said it. I did. I take
I
it
told-
back.
Hey,
And
me
I
and
take it
Danny
all
got
back.
him. Me and Danny got him.
I
take
told
it
you he's
all
gonna
back.
go crazy. He has so
watch-
like
How bad of a year did he have last year? Terrible, right?
Not that
Apparently
bad.
terrible. QB4.
Yeah, it wasn't
So,
that bad. It was just the fact that you rocking out with Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster and them. That was
Juju
my
looked
issue.
good. Juju looked good.
Yeah, it
I
looked
mean, he
really
had the
good.
fumble, but he was running routes clean. He was breaking routes, outer
Mhm.
routes. He was in rhythm with Pat. Obviously, Kelsey was
And-
Kelsey, but
And then I think the best performance of the week, as everybody else had one, was Carson Wentz, in my opinion. Okay. 65%, 66% completion percentage, 313 yards, 4 tutties. He did throw back-to-back picks, which is some bullshit. But he got to fix that one way or the other. But man played a phenomenal game in his first game as a Washington Commander. You know?
And shout
I'm
out
just-
to Curtis Samuel on that too, because
yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him healthy and being able to be productive because the man was kind of Debo before Debo. He was the
Yes.
one taking those backfield carries and doing all these gadget plays as well as
Now,
playing
my
out.
question for you, V, is this: would you pick him up this week if he on the waiver wire?
In
I already got him in line.
leagues, a couple of my leagues he's lined
But
up.
you at the bottom of the waiver order. We ain't talking to you, Danny.
Yes, I got for me when it comes to fantasy, I like to look at things like targets and opportunity. Seeing 11 targets means he's the safety blanket. You know, he's the Renfro for Carson Wentz. He's gonna be that guy where he's like scans the field, don't see anything. Where's Samuel?
the
Right?
problem
Yeah.
is they still have so many.
Yeah, they have so
weapons.
many weapons, and it's gonna come those types of teams that have a lot of weapons, you're gonna have ups and downs. But when you have a guy who's so versatile and can be so productive after the catch, you know, you can dump it off to him on a 1 yard dump off, and he can
Yeah.
make it in. He can get you a first down. That quarterbacks see that. It's the same reason why Brady loved James White and he loved Edelman. He could trust their hands and he could trust them to make plays after they caught the ball.
Amendola.
Yeah.
I think
And
another
Amendola
huge thing
fucked
too
everywhere else.
I think another huge thing too, especially for the Commanders, is that we know Scary Terry's their number one. Being able to solidify that number 2 spot for them. Jahan Dotson had a great game as well, coming back, very first game of the season. But I think being able to solidify that 2 and 3
Yeah.
and have that consistency is going to be so much
Well,
better
yeah,
for them
teams-
and actually
teams-
provide that consistency.
In the last year or two, we're able to just, if we take Terry out, they are going to struggle.
Hmm.
Now, if you say, all right, we're going to put our best corner and shade a safety over, you're sacrificing. You cannot choose to commit so much
Yeah,
to Terry
Curtis Samuel
and
on
leave
the
Curtis
side,
Samuel out of the slot,
Jahan
Jahan
Dotson
on the other side.
Logan
And now-
Thomas tight end.
Yeah, and Gibson and
Gibson on the
Hey,
McKissick
then who you
still there.
taking? Then who you taking?